for joining me on Extraordinary People in an Ordinary World. I hope you enjoyed today's show. Please share with a friend. If you know an extraordinary person, I would love to hear from you so that I can feature them on the show. Please email me at extraordinarypeople@gmail.com, or you can message me on Instagram at extraordinary_people_podcast. I look forward to hearing from you. And in the words of Saint Mother Teresa, not all of us can do great things, but we can all do small things with great love. I look forward to our next extraordinary person, the first Friday of next month. See you then. Welcome to August edition of Extraordinary People in an Ordinary World. I decided to do a throwback this month to my first ever recorded episode with my Aunt Doris. It was done in July of 2024, and she was one of the reasons I thought of the idea. It's also her birthday this month in August, so I wanted to reintroduce and let everybody get a listen to this original episode that started the whole podcast. We celebrated our second anniversary last month, and I'm so thankful to everybody who supports this podcast. Please like and share, send any comments, and remember, if you know an extraordinary person, I would love for you to email me at bethextraordinarypeople@gmail.com. Thank you. Have a listen. For those of you that are listening for the first time, I know you'll enjoy this. For those of you that are listening for a second time, I think you'll really love to listen again and hear some of the words of wisdom from Doris Monroe. Thank you, and have a great rest of your summer, and we'll see you in September with a new episode. Today is our first episode of Extraordinary People in an Ordinary World. My guest today is somebody very close to me, my Aunt Doris. My Aunt Doris has taught me so much about life. She's really helped form my faith and how I believe, and I am so excited to have her with me today. So without further ado, this is Doris Monroe, and we're going to have a little interview today. Hi, Aunt Doris.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing great because I'm with you.
I love that. I love spending time with my aunt. So, Aunt Doris, this podcast is all about people who do great things. And we have this ordinary world, millions of people around us. But I've known you for all my life, obviously.
Yes.
And I've seen you do some really extraordinary things that I don't think people know about. And I want people to get to know you today. So would it be okay if we start off with you telling me just a little bit about your life, when you were born, how you grew up, how many
Yes.
siblings, that type of thing?
All right. I was born August 11th, 1935.
Oh.
And I was born in the Margaret Haig Hospital in Jersey City. And during that time, there was a big financial upheaval here in the United States, all over. And, but it never seemed to affect the way my parents treated me with kindness. And I was very fortunate. My first job was in Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner and Bean.
Mm-hmm.
But I had wanted to be a nurse. When I graduated high school, I wanted to be a nurse. And my dad said, no, they're big strapping women and they're not chaste.
That's funny.
Yeah. And I was a little disappointed. But also, I was doing something that he knew nothing about.
Mm-hmm.
He used to take myself and my sister every Sunday to Faith Van Voss Reformed Church in Jersey City. And it was like education. We'd get there at 9 and we'd leave at maybe 11. Then I would get home and my mom would take me around the corner on Claremont and Ocean Avenue was Our Lady of Sorrows Church, which was Catholic. And so I thought everybody had two religions. Yeah. And I used to look up, and I'd look at the tabernacle, and I'd say to my mother, Mom, I see the light coming out of the little house. He's in there. And she'd say, stop talking like that. And little did I know that it was the Holy Eucharist. Mm-hmm. The other thing I didn't know, I didn't like my name was Doris. I told my mother when I was 3 years old that my name was Claire. And she said, how would this 3-year-old know she was born on the Feast of Claire? I didn't tell her.
Yeah.
And I think God talks to little children, and they listen, and they respond. So that was my early childhood. Now I'm retired, mm-hmm. and I have a very, very comfortable life. I moved out of Jersey City 30 years ago, and I live in Whiting. I have a house that's very manageable financially and physically. So I'm very blessed. I'm a very blessed woman. I have 4 daughters. I have 5 grandchildren, and I have 6 great-grandchildren.
Wow, that is a full life.
So I'm a millionaire, but I'm a retired nurse. I went back to school when I was almost 30. I was 29. I went through the CETA program. Thank God for CETA. Mm-hmm. It paid for...
What was the CETA program? Can you explain that?
It was a program for different things, and you had to apply for it. Mm-hmm. And you had to be in a position where you weren't rich, you were poor.
So it was mostly for jobs, to help people get different professions so they can be financially stable.
That's correct.
Okay.
So I was going down to Middlesex College to re-enter the work field. Mm-hmm. And I saw this sign for CETA, and it said, for nursing LPN. Mm-hmm. So I went into the staff member, and I said, I want to look into this. And she said, oh, that's for poor people. I said, well, I'm poor. And that's how, thanks be to God, I became a nurse. So I've been blessed. I was a nurse for over 40 years. And it was, my favorite profession was being a mother and having 4 children, 4 daughters. And then my second favorite was being a nurse. Yes.
Well, it's interesting that you were talking about you being a nurse, because as we record this, it's May 6th, and it is Nurses Week. So happy Nurses Week, Aunt Doris.
Thank you. Thank you.
Once a nurse, always a nurse.
Yes.
Right. So tell me a little bit about your nursing. What did you love most about it? What did you learn from it?
I want to take a moment to thank our sponsor, Calm Creations. If you like relaxing by the warm glow of a candle with the scent that brings back memories, I've got the perfect candle company for you. Calm Creations, based in New Jersey, makes high-quality, beautifully scented candles, and 10% of their profits go to benefit nonprofit organizations. Check out their amazing selection at calmcreations.com. And thank you for being a sponsor of Extraordinary People in an Ordinary World.
Well, I have to say that my patients taught me more than I ever taught them. I started out in, it was med-surg in St. Elizabeth's Hospital in Elizabeth. And from there, I went to work for Dr. Irwin Pollock, and that was the doctor that invented the safety belts that we wear in cars today. Because what was happening at that time, a lot of young, wealthy kids had cars, but they're having car accidents. And in those days, they didn't put head injured in therapy because they're violent. They put them in mental institutions. And Dr. Erwin Pollack said, no, that's wrong.
Nice.
The first impact, the person is injured, but the second impact shaves the top of the brain because the inside of our skull is like cement. And he said, I want to make a difference. But I'm sure that the insurance companies were difficult to deal with, but he didn't give up. And then the patients that he was dealing with, their families went to Washington, spoke to the senators, spoke to the government about safety in the cars. And that's how we have a law today that says you better put your seatbelt on.
Or you get a ticket, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's good. Where did you go after that?
I went to the Center for Hope. It was for death and dying.
Hospice. Okay.
And I didn't think I could do it. But the fact remains, if you're a hospice nurse, you can't do it. But with the spirit of the Holy Spirit, you can. And I met the most beautiful people. I heard the most beautiful stories of what they did with their life. One of the things people do when they know I got 6 months to live, they review their life. Did I do any good while I was on the earth? I heard the most beautiful, beautiful witnesses. Most people don't even know how good they are or how much good they've done. And my job as a hospice nurse, I had 5 primaries, but we all worked with each other's patients. And but what I used to do, I'd listen to the stories after maybe the second visit. Whatever I did for the person, took their vital signs, gave them a treatment, whatever. I would listen to the stories of their lives. Get out my car, I had all these little booklets, and I'd write down their stories because I couldn't stop thinking how beautiful their story was. And to me, that was more of a benefit to me than my being there with them. But they were just, most hospice people are they're not greedy. They're giving, as a matter of fact, they're giving everything away. And Peggy Coloni and Father Hudson were in charge of the Center for Hope. And they told us as nurses that our patients would try to give you things. Do not take them or we will let you go. And this one nurse laughed and she said, does that mean I have to give the house back? And, but I had this one little Jewish couple, they had, their parents had paid for them to get out of Germany, and they went to England during the Blitz.
Okay.
They were married 60 years, and he was my patient. And they gave me a little dish of a good piece of china. I said, I can't take that. I'm not allowed to take anything. And they called Peggy and Father and said they were giving me this dish and I was to keep candy in it. So I never forgot how sweet they were.
Aw, that's nice.
I met one more beautiful couple after the other. So it was a beautiful experience being a hospice nurse.
So this podcast is about extraordinary people. I bet I would have gotten to meet a lot of people that I could have interviewed for this podcast.
Yes.
So you must have met some extraordinary people.
I did. One of my biggest regrets in life was those little books that I wrote all the witnesses in and the life stories. I don't know how big it was. Maybe I had maybe I had 500.
Mm-hmm.
And when I retired,
500 stories.
yes.
Okay.
When I retired, I had this box with all the witnesses in it and the stories. And I said to the volunteer that shredded things, Joe, could you shred this for me? I just don't want to leave it unattended. And about 2 hours later, he came back up and he said, Doris, you can't shred this. You got to write a book. And I didn't listen to him.
You shred it.
I said, no, Joe, it has to be shredded.
So he ended up shredding all of those memoirs that you had of your patients.
Yes. So we all do things we're sorry for, but we learn from it.
We do.
Yes.
And I know you've told me stories about some of the patients and some of the things you've learned. So those stories still go on.
Yes, they do.
Do you have a favorite one?
I really don't have a favorite.
Okay.
I do know that the toughest thing is when parents lose a child. And the Center for Hope had a special counseling out in Mountainside. Lovely house up on the mountain, and there were counselors for the parents, because when a child dies young, the other siblings think they might have done something. The parents feel so devastated. So the Center for Hope really looked after those families that lost a child. Yes. God bless them.
Right.
Yes.
God bless them. It's true. Did you stay at the hospice till you retired?
I stayed in the hospice, and then I had a surgery. I had a prolapsed bladder, and I couldn't lift. And once I came down here to Whiting, it was a very long drive. So anyway, I took a job down here working for this one company. When I left the Center for Hope, I was making $15 an hour. When I went...
What year was that? Do you know?
Oh, God, I should know, but I have to look it up. And then I'm down here 40 years. And what I learned from all my patients and all my experiences as a nurse helps me deal with a little boy that I got. His name was Jonathan, and he was in a Head Start program, and he was diabetic. And I know that what I learned helped that child because he was diabetic, so I was there all day with him.
In a school, so that your job was to work with children in schools?
Yes.
Okay.
So anyway, what I did was I took his blood sugar and then gave him his insulin. But they had put him on a psych medicine because he was a very active child. And that was not the answer, because that little boy's appetite was involved. So it's always good when you see something very dangerous to speak up. So I went to the administrator where I was working, and I said, we have to speak to this physician. We have to speak to this whole... It has to be done. So anyway, what happened was they took him off the psych medicine. The volunteers that worked with in the Head Start program, there was one woman, she was like his grandmother. She was lovely. And her and I worked together. And his blood sugar became more lower. His appetite, he ate with other children. The other children enjoyed his company. So there was 3 boys and a little girl. And I had him at the table eating with them, and his appetite improved. And then I have brown spots on my hands. They're aging spots. And the one little boy said, "What are all those brown spots on your hands, Nurse Doris?" I said, "Well, they're grandma spots." And he said, "They look like poopy to me." And then the other child said, "Smell her hands." So I gave him my hand and he smelled it and he said, "It smells like flowers." So the little girl, there was only one little girl at the table, and she said, "I like them. Will I get grandma spots?" I said, "I hope so." But those little children were a delight to work with. Delight, absolute delight. So I've been very fortunate. Now I'm retired. I have my great-grandchildren visiting me. I have my children visiting my nieces, and I'm just blessed. And I think that as you age, you feel the joy of having people that you love near you. It brings you a joy no matter what the circumstances. So aging is like, the first time I went for counseling was at the Center for Living, because I was married twice. Both men were alcoholic. And the second man, he was sober. He entered AA and was sober almost 4 years. And he just made a complete turnaround in his life. But what I want to say is that also taught me to be grateful for my own health. And the first time I went to the Center for Living for counseling for families that were living with addictions, because there's all kinds of addictions. There's people that overeat. There's people on drugs. There's people on alcohol. There's people on spending money. Yeah, shopping. But anyway, the counselor's name was Ruth Levine. She was lovely. And she said, "I can't stay and talk with you for a few minutes. I have to run and speak to someone. Are you all right sitting here?" I said, "Yes." So she left her office, but she had a big banner and it had a big butterfly on it. And underneath it said, "Happiness is like a butterfly. The more you chase it, the more it eludes you. But if you turn your attention to something constructive, it might light on your shoulder." And that's the truth.
That is
the truth.
That is.
Yes.
I love that saying.
And I'm very blessed the fact that I'm Catholic. And I'm able to receive the Holy Eucharist, the body and blood of Christ. That has kept me healthy. And I really think that God watches over us if we let him, if we listen. And another person that was very moving in my life was Sister Elizabeth Mooney. She was a Dominican nun, and she was principal in the school, but she was also had the gift of discerning of good and evil. And she was my personal director. And she directed me many times when it made a difference. So I met one more beautiful person after another during all of my life.
One of the things that you love your religion, you loved your professions as a mom and a nurse, but you also did some mission work, right? To Haiti?
I went to Haiti. A vet, her and her husband were Haitian, but they had to flee Haiti when some political terrible thing was happening. But she stayed in touch with all the people in Haiti. She wanted to help keep a school open, because one of the ways they kept the people down in Haiti was to keep them illiterate. And this way they were treated like slaves, and they couldn't read or write. And the only people that could read and write were wealthy. So Father, I just lost his name.
Martinez?
No,
Bosico.
Father Bosico had a school, but he didn't have the money to pay the teachers. So Yvette asked if I would go with her to Haiti to help him. And so I went. My friend Vera Charles, she was a widow with 6 children, and she was originally from the West Indies. And I was a widow with 4 children. So I said, before we go to this country where there's all this chaos, we should speak to the Imitation of Christ prayer group. And that was part of what we joined as families, was the Imitation of Christ prayer group, a charismatic renewal.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there were 5 nuns and 5 priests, and they prayed, should Vera and Doris, the 2 poorest people in the group, go and help the poor. And they said every time they'd pray we would be safe, they would get hysterical laughing, like, of course God's going to watch over them. And so we did go. And one of the things that happened was my faith got stronger. My faith was well aware in front of me every moment I was there. When we got there, we stayed at the rectory of Our Lady of the Assumption, where the school was for the poor children. And Father Bosico, the first night we were there, it's 100 degrees in Haiti in the morning.
Oof.
So when we went to Mass, it was so warm in the Mass. And the people there didn't have money to buy deodorant, so that odor was very prevalent in the church. But I was very uncomfortable with it. It was making me nauseous. And before I fell asleep, I said, Lord, I can't go to Mass while I'm here. I know that people can't afford deodorant. When I get back to the States, I'll do something to help with that. 1 American dollar at that time was worth 10 Haitian dollars. So anyway, during the night, I woke up to a male voice 3 times saying, they are a pleasing fragrance to me. They are a pleasing fragrance to me. I ran off to Mass with everyone. And I held my nose so I wouldn't smell anything. Do you know, for the next 2 weeks, I never smelled anything.
That's crazy.
So he took care of God is good. He loves all his children.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw the need for Father Bosco to keep his school open. And I went when I got back to my parish. I went to Catholic Charities. But they had told me that so many times when material and help comes to the docks in Haiti, they're stolen.
Yeah.
So Father Martinez, who was a Servite priest, he sent Vera and I to, he was a friend of Father Martinez, he was a lawyer, and he got us, legally, we could, in the United States, you can't ask for money unless it's an incorporation. So you got to prove that it's going where it should go. Thank God for the United States. And we formed the Imitation of Christ prayer group.
Mm-hmm.
Our Lady of the Assumption, Our Lady of the Assumption prayer group. And that's how we got money to help Father Bosco keep the school open.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things also that happens is when the Haitian rich saw these Americans coming to help Father Bosico, they donated 18 acres of land.
Wow.
Because if the old people in Haiti at that time didn't have children to help them or relatives, they used to sleep on the church steps because they didn't have houses.
Mm.
So 2 houses were actually built on the acreage, one for the elderly male, one for the elderly female, and people were hired to help feed them. And doctors came from the capital to help them.
Wow.
It's amazing how God works.
Mm-hmm.
And he uses people like Vera, Odette. We were not women that were smart and how to earn money, but he used us. God used us to show Father Bosico, I'm the one helping you keep this school open. And these women, I'll show them the way. And he did.
Yeah.
And my faith was so built up.
Can you tell me the story about the girl who wanted your shoes?
Oh, yes.
You've told me that story before, but this is something I would like other people to hear.
Vera and Odette spoke Patois.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a hill there, and they brought all the poor there, families. And they went up on the hill, and they were preaching about the school and keeping things going. And I sat at the bottom of the hill, and this little girl came and sat next to me. And she said to me in broken English, "Can I have your shoes?" And I said, "Why?" She said, "I need shoes. I have those shoes." And I had a gold medal. I said, "I'll give you my gold medal and you can buy a dozen pairs of shoes." She said, "No." Then she showed me her foot, why she wanted the shoes. She had a lesion that was bleeding. It was very sad. And I took the shoes off and I gave them to her. And
you had no other shoes.
I had no shoes. And she was skipping away with the shoes. So after the event was over, I'm walking back, and they used to call me Sweet Feet, because even with shoes, there aren't paved streets, and maybe there are today in Haiti, and you could feel all the rocks, and it was very uncomfortable. And Vera looked at me and she said, "Where are your shoes?" And I told her about the little girl, and she said, "Well, I can't carry you. Sweet Feet, you're gonna have a terrible time walking back to the rectory." I did not feel one pebble. Nothing hurt my feet. It was amazing. I didn't reveal to them the miracle I had for a couple of days, and then I did. And I purchased a pair of shoes while I was down there. But it let me see how much God loves his children. Mm-hmm. He wanted that little girl to have some comfort in her life. Mm-hmm. And he wanted the old lady, me, to realize what a difference kindness helps everyone.
Well, not everybody would give the shoes off their own feet. I will say that. So I would say you had a life full of family.
Yes.
Good people you've met through your work.
Yes.
As a nurse.
Yes.
through your mission work.
Yes.
You have a strong faith.
Well, that's God's grace.
There's a little toast you always do, and I'd like you to toast us out with that little toast that you do.
Oh, when we're making a toast together as a family, I always say, this is the toast I make. Good health, strong faith, and abundant cash flow.
That's my favorite quote ever. I use it all the time. And you're not somebody who's had abundant cash flow, but you've been abundantly blessed, haven't you?
I have been abundantly blessed with my children, my nieces, my nephews, my sister, her husband, and children. I have been blessed abundantly. Yes.
Well, I want to thank you for today.
You're quite welcome.
And all the memories you've given me. I hope
Good.
you keep sharing them along the way, even though you shredded those memoirs.
Yes.
We have a lot of them still in our little bucket here, right?
Thank you. Thank
right.
you.
I love you, Aunt Doris. Thank you.
I love you.
Thank you for joining me on Extraordinary People in an Ordinary World. I hope you enjoyed today's show. Please share with a friend. If you know an extraordinary person, I would love to hear from you so that I can feature them on the show. Please email me at bethextraordinarypeople@gmail.com, or you can message me on Instagram at extraordinary_people_podcast. I look forward to hearing from you. And in the words of Saint Mother Teresa, not all of us can do great things, but we can all do small things with great love. I look forward to our next extraordinary person, the first Friday of next month. See you then.